I'm not sure if there's a God or Ubuntu, but I am grateful that that mission is over. If you prefer to return to the action, you can leave the dreamscape immediately by approaching the exit gate. This again. Okay. I always want information. Sell my soul to buy time. No thank you. Al-Dawa. So the dreamscape looks different to different people, and since I'm a pilot, it looks like pilot things. Very convenient plot-related thing to basically keep all this stuff in the Freespace 2 engine. Alright, Al-Dawa. So I'm Fidean now. If I'm Fidean, I've always been Fidean. Should I be proud? You should be satisfied. It means you'll make a difference, and while we're discussing what you feel, operator, I've got nothing new to tell you about Captain Sims. Maybe you can explain why Kovacs told me that a man in the shower was you. You'll see many people claiming to be Al-Dawa aboard immersive. Putting a single face to the name is hardly a priority now. Let's discuss strategy. I'll admit, the Bellwether op impressed me. We splashed that convoy, killed a few thousand Tev personnel, convinced the Tevs it was their Geth allies who did it, planted a hint that the Federation tried to stop it, worthy of Steel. The Bellwether pilots were critical on Steel's Orbat. He'll send another few days shuttling in pilots by more secure routes and reworking plans to handle the loss. When exactly is he going to hit Earth? In what force? First fleet is strategically intact and second fleet is only bloodied. What's Steel's trick this time around? Projections give us 2 weeks at the outside. Cassandra believes he plans to take Earth by main force, nullifying the Eris to Talos with shock jumps. It's a Navy bomber corps that has him worried. He needs good pilots flying screen. We killed a lot of his pilots in the Bellwether raid. It's also my understanding that we are on the verge of locating the mole that betrayed Elgar Tauganini and the War Gods. Be ready to fly. Yes, sir. It's kind of weird. Like, on one of my many failed attempts at this missions, when I blew up, I got the male pilot death scream. You know, like when you're, ah! Command, get me out of here kind of nonsense. Now, that might be a, just an oversight in Fred, but if we're all kind of plugged into a supercomputer, like, am I actually flying or am I still plugged into some kind of supercomputer? So when I push a button to go to the briefing room, I basically just get the briefing downloaded in my head, and then when I'm flying the plane, I'm not actually in the plane. I'm borrowing some other poor soul's body to fly the plane because maybe the attitude of these Fideans are there are certain people that are too valuable to risk. So that's why we have this hive mind. Kind of like the Matrix, really, by the sounds of things. Anyway, you have anything else to say? Al-Dawa. Killing those 3 Ridwin pilots was difficult, but I understand, but it was necessary. Okay. Admiral outrages hampering Steel's attack preparations. Okay. Cassandra's not poring over realms of DNI data from your brain. Your visions are the key to a greater design. A little worried about that. You may feel the completions of the War Gods was futile, but the Agincourt's loss is still slowing him. Dozens of other Fidean sorties are ongoing at this moment. One more. Okay. Who's next? Falconer? Where are you, Falconer? Less beneath the surface. Something about Voilar is the sacrifice. Kovacs, dear, just let's go. She's cute in a hurt way. It's pretty impressive that they're changing that stuff kind of on the fly as you get closer. She's cute in a hurt way. Oh, okay. So, are you next bay? What's the verdict, Falconer? How's my now stabbing? Hardy har. I'm not sold yet. Killing aliens you never met face to face? Easy. But you flinched when those fleet flares jumped in. If I get the job done, why do you care? So I flinch. So I wasted a nanosecond on remorse. What's it to you? It means you still got your humanity caught in the gears. It means that if the stakes were higher, you'd break. Could you have killed a whole squadron? A cruiser? Yes! If I needed to. If it was kill them or lose the war? Yes. Now are you going to ask me to like it? Kovacs wouldn't. Fedora wouldn't, but me? Yeah. I think you should like it. Everyone should like what they do. Wow, you're screwed up, man. Can you hear me? I don't like breathing. I mean, I like breathing, but it's not like... It's necessary. I wouldn't say it's liking. Okay, you got nothing. Kovacs. Home evades forever. So yeah, I'm not sure if this is just like a temporary thing that we plug ourselves into like the Matrix, or we're basically always plugged in and we basically just open this up like a file. Is she all they say? Kovacs, hard to work a word loose from you. Asleep or awake? I'm from the Marksman School of Conversation, but here, welcome to the Fidean. That sort of went well. We clicked. Looking at the training clocks for you three, turn rate, reaction time, and trigger latency, all are pretty close to human max. What's the secret? 10,000 hours, good genes in this place. We each got the muscle memories and skill set of 3 crack pilots. It bleeds together here. So what else bleeds? I don't want to. This might sound cold, but I don't want to care. I don't want to start dreaming your hopes and fears. If it gets round on target and on the right target, I'm willing to risk some heartbreak. Trust me, give a tragedy a few years and it's just a big ugly scar. Never get into a dogfight. Take your shot and get out. Fidean only take critical jobs. Miss a shot, you could lose the war. That's pressure. The Hammer of Light. Whoa! Whoa! How did I miss you? Hello. What are you? And why are you in this place? I represent the Hammer of Light. Our Nagari expertise is sufficient to interface with the Fidean dreamscape. You're the entire Hammer of Light? You're an apocalypse Shivan death cult? I am one of many. The nature of the hammer has changed with the years. We are not the militia we once were. Even the GTVI has not grasped our spread. I've already told me the HOL wasn't wiped out after Templar, after all. How did you survive, and what can you offer the Federation? Very direct, Terran. The hammer resurgence began after Capella, when it became clear that the Shivans could never be defeated. Tens of thousands of faithful have infiltrated the pursued Magi, and others have entered the Terran ranks as reactor specialists. So you've got a network already in place in the Alliance. I see how Aldual could be interested, but what would you help the Federation? What do we have to do with your prophecies? We are the enemies of your enemies. Has that not always been enough? But if you will forgive the words of a fanatic, we know that the end times are upon us. At this very hour, both the races are being judged in this war with Russia and the apocalypse. This moment we have prepared for. The ancient ones that visit us in our infancy told us that we would need to submit to judgment without resistance or protest, and so we shall. This doesn't seem like any kind of answer to me. Maybe slow down the text a little bit there, guys. We understand that Capella was a warning, telling us that we are being judged. We have devised a language of our own hidden within the greater Masudan tongues. Okay. Thorn. Burn's secret is still his. What is Shambhala? Look, I need to ask, given all the crap you know about me. Do you know about Ken? Can you explain Ken? Well, yes, Ken was a boyfriend. Yes, we know, and no, not quite. How do you know? Where your brain is linked to a computer that everyone else's brain is linked to! Vic Mouth, the psychologist who screened you back in the Slayers, was a council operative. His finding led us to bug your personal communications. We intercepted your letter to Madho about the Ken manifestation. Ever since a child, I've been visited by his personality, not just in dreams. It manifests itself in combat, in the mess hall, anytime, anywhere. It's inside my head, and it clearly has an agenda of its own. Your schizophrenic symptoms led us to believe it was just a combination of the Nagiri sensitivity and auditory hallucination. An unusual reaction to Nagiri intrusions into your brain, but when we realized the magnitude of the Nagiri traffic directed at you, we suspected more. I don't even know about the Nagiri until I visited this dreamscape. Now I'm starting to think there is something contacting me. Nagiri is not some magical kind of telepathy. It's a form of direct neurally induced communication using clotting pulses. The effects are problematic and non-local, which means that once the link is established, communication is instantaneous across any distance. It's like the mechanism used. Oh my god. And you told me it was induced in human by an external source? Yes, right. Nagiri capability requires a quantum key or some kind, probably access subspace human brain lacks. That kind of capability, but doesn't mean we can't serve as receivers of sort triggered neural activities a lot easier than blasting through hull like the Kaiser does. So I'm networked to something else. Whatever this Ken entity is, it exists in network elsewhere. So I'm not hallucinating, I'm being manipulated. Probably. Yeah. Thank you, Thorn. Believe me, Cassandra is all over your DNI data. Aiken Bosch built an artificial Nagiri machine that was ETAC. Yeah. Alright. Falconer contains Falcon. No shit. What is the English teacher name? Mrs. Falconer? I mean, she's probably long retired by now. From what I've been told, like, now my old teachers are still teaching. Alright. Fedora. Missions like that convoy raid do a lot more than simple mechanical damage. Maybe the best way to handle the damage is to seal it off, compartmentalize, and ignore. You'd be flying a cockpit if you try to keep that up for too long. Come on, Laporte. Leverage your assets here. I had my time to grieve. I lost my squadron and my closest. I don't know what she was, but now I'm in a position to hit back. It's not a long-term strategy. Either you win, you die, or you fail. What do you do when you hit the end of your list? Falconer tells me I need to spend more time than now, so here I am. We may be a game of psychopaths, but that doesn't mean we're all jerks. No, I don't think any of you are jerks. You're crazy, but not jerks. Believe it or not, but I do care. Being genuine has its utility. Yeah, they're just crazy. Alright. You're a weapon system. Maintain yourself. Alright, let's wake up from this. I will say I kind of like what they're doing. Trying to make a, I don't know, trying to do something a little different with this game. But yeah, you could just skip this and return to the action. I want to know the story. I want to know a little more about what the writers put into this, but I understand that it does kind of take away from the action because I just did a kind of tense, difficult first mission of this campaign. Oh god, they're not going to get any easier. Oh well, time to hop out of this.